Welcome to 8% Club every Friday. You guys know the time, 2 o'clock Central Standard Time. Today's topic is good. I just got out of a sales meeting with an agency, and one of the things that we talked about is exactly what we're going to cover on today's show, so bear with me. Whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, make sure you comment below. I appreciate you being here. Today's about the number one ingredient. 92% of insurance agents fail. And I want to talk about the number one ingredient to help you create insurance success. And this is probably the number one thing that agents struggle with. And I want to come and challenge you today to pick it up in this area. Before I jump to the number one ingredient, you're going to want to stay with me. I'm going to walk through the whiteboard. It's going to be really good. I want to make sure that you guys are aware we've got a new call to close series that trains agents on everything from the phone call and all the steps all the way to the close. It's a live 3-hour virtual training with me. It's on March 7th, Thursday, March 7th at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. Again, call to close, 3-hour live training. You get lifetime access to the recording, the ebook, live Q&A with me, 3 to 4 hours of live training. The way I think about trainings, and you can go to CodyAskins.com to look that up. We're only taking 30 seats. We have some seats left. One thing I want you to think about is, the one thing I think about, I invest in my personal brand. I invest in retreats, conferences. I go to events. I have coaches. I learn stuff. I buy courses all the time. I'm sitting, true story, I'm sitting, it's about 7 o'clock at 7 o'clock at night on New Year, maybe 5:30, whatever, on New Year's Eve, okay, about almost 2 months ago. And I'm sitting there and an ad comes up for a chatbot course. I buy it. I spend a couple $100 on the fly. I just commit and pay for it. I'm like, babe, where's my card? I want this. Because I want to know more. When it comes to sales, marketing, insurance, being great at what I do, I want to know. And the way I think about courses and trainings, if I pick up one nugget that I apply into my business, one idea that I apply into my business, one concept that I apply into my business, then that course was worth it. So when you start thinking about, hey, should I invest in myself or not, will you get one idea, concept, or specific strategy that you can use to apply into your business? So that new call to close series, I can promise you, you'll pick up one idea, you'll make about 100x return off of whatever you pay for that call to close series. So make sure you go to CodyAskins.com to check it out. All right, so the number one thing, the number one ingredient that is able to help create success in this business, and I've always been told it, and it's true, and it's activity. Activity is the number one thing that is the number one ingredient that if you can do this, you can have success. Because a lot of agents, we want more sales, right? We want more money, right? So we want all of these things. What happens is activity leads to appointments. Appointments leads to sits. Sits leads to sales. Actually, yeah, it leads to sales, policies, applications, whatever you want to call it. And then that leads to what? It leads to money. You can't have sales. You can't have money without sales. You can't have sales without sits. You can't have sits without set appointments. And you can't have set appointments without activity. I don't care if it's door knocks or calls. I would start tracking something I did a lot. And I preach to insurance agents and agencies to track this. I would track my calls, my door knocks, text messages, emails, all of it. Especially these two, calls and door knocks. I would track these things because I want to know, as an insurance agent, I want to know at the end of every week, I want to be able to do something like this and be able to say, okay, my activity was 300, right? I set 15, I sat with 10, I made 5 sales, and guess what? I made about $36.20 in commission. Like, that's practically an ideal week to me. for an insurance agent. Now, it's not a fantastic or crazy week, and your average premium should be a little higher, but I'm doing some math and averaging it out about 720, 725, 724 AP per sale. You need to know your numbers. So when I think about activity, this is calls and door knocks. This is set appointments. This is sits. This is sells, and this is calls. And I used to track these things every single day. So I would have a whiteboard, and I'll go ahead and draw this out for you. I would have a whiteboard. Again, make sure you remember this: activity, appointments, sit, sells, money. All right. I would have a whiteboard on my wall, and it would look just like this. All right. And I still do. But as an agent, this is what you need to do. So you need the whole month, right? You need a whole month broke out. And then you need different days, okay? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You could do Saturday, or you can just do a total column, okay? And then each one of these blocks, I want to have activity, and then I want to have sets, sits, sells, and commission, or premium, whichever you want to track. But every day, so like I eventually learned, this is what's cool about this, and I'm going deep today, I'm giving you ridiculous value. I used to figure out, guess what day of the week was best for Cody Askins every single week as an insurance agent. I knew, and you guys probably don't know what day of the week you do best. I realized that I had a great day and a bad day. You want to know what those were? My best day was Tuesdays. Tuesdays were my best day because I spent Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays setting appointments for Tuesday, okay? I realized that Wednesday was my worst day. You say, well, that should never be your worst day. Well, it shouldn't, but I was putting so much focus on having success early in the week that I forgot to have appointments on Wednesday. So Wednesday ended up being an office and call day and door knock day for me. And so I got to where I knew that, okay, if I do 60, I had 60 dials today. I set 4 appointments. I sat with 3 of the previous sits. I sold 3, right? Because you very well may. And then I did about 2,800 in premium or commission. So when you start to think through and you start to track your activity every single day and every single week, and then you end up totaling it like we talked about. Hey, my activity was 300. I set 15, and it should be more, right? It should just be more. I sat with 10, I sold 5, and my total commission was about, let's just say 36.20 again, right? You need to know your activity. I'm a strong believer in the #1 key ingredient being activity. Most people fail in the activity area. They don't track their activity enough. They don't know what they're doing. They have good days and bad days, and they have no clue. They don't know what their activity, their set, sit, sales, and commission or premium are because they don't, and a lot of times they have low numbers. For instance, I was in a sales meeting not too long ago where one agent, I'm going to give you an example. One agent had 185 calls for the week, okay? And the other agent had 80 calls for the week. Who do you think out of agent number 1 or agent number 2, and vote in comments below right now, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, which agent number 1 or agent number 2 had more success that week? Without even looking at it, what do you think? Agent number 1 or agent number 2? Who do you think had more sets? Who do you think had more sits? Who do you think had more sells? And who do you think made more money? Agent number 1 or agent number 2? It was agent number 1. And it doesn't always work that way 10 out of 10 times, but typically it does. The person that puts forth more activity in this business typically has better what? Results. You typically have better results. The more activity you do, it's funny how that works. the more activity you do, the better and more success you have. In this business, it is all about, I'm big on tracking. I'm big on analytics. I'm big on activity, and I'm big on knowing what I'm doing and when I'm doing it. Because activity equals, we talked about this earlier, sets. Sets equal sits. Sits equal cells, and cells equal some freaking cash-ola, money. Money. All because you put forth the activity. If you don't put forth enough activity, you won't have enough sets. You ought to have a minimum of 15 plus set appointments every single week. You ought to have a minimum of 10 plus sits. I don't care what type of industry you're in. I don't care what type of insurance you're selling. Minimum of 10 sets every week. You should have a minimum of 5 plus sales every single week. And you should always do at least 3,000 of annual premium minimum per week. That's immediately. And you say, well, Cody, I'm doing that. Well, you're not, because 92% of insurance agents fail, and 3K times 50 weeks, take 2 weeks off, that's 150K in premium. I bet that less than 3% of agents are doing that type of premium volume, annual premium. I guarantee it. I don't even need to guess. It may be lower. Like the company I was with, when I did about 250K in premium, 240K in premium in 8 months. At 19, I was like a freaking solar eclipse. Like I was like the dude that landed on the moon. Like no one else was doing it. Especially at my age and in my office or regional area, no one was doing it. I was setting the standard. So that's my challenge to you. Do so much activity that you're the destroyer in your office. Because there's a lot of office that track activity. You go into a sales meeting and then you lay out your activity and the information and what you did for that week, right? You need to be accountable to somebody. You need to report to somebody. You need a coach. Everybody's got a coach. The greatest people in the world have coaches, had coaches, and you need a coach. So find someone that you can look up to that can be your coach. Ask them to be your coach. Ask them to be a part of their coaching programs. Because what will happen is you'll end up being accountable. And when I talk to agents and agencies all the time, I say, okay, who leads an activity every week? That person. Okay. Do you typically lead in set, sit, sales, and money every week too? Yeah, I typically do. Wow, it's funny how that works. So from now on, I would want to beat that dude. And I don't want to just beat him. The dude sitting in the back, dude sitting in the front, whatever, that leads an activity, I don't want to just beat him. I want to freaking destroy him. I'm telling you, you guys need to want to destroy your competition. When you're in an office setting, you're in a sales meeting, and someone is putting up 300 dials a week, and they're beating you in set, sit, sales, and money every week, I would walk in the next week with 600. I would plan on being the destroyer in your company. If the best person does this, then I'm doing more. But we don't, because we just think about being average and about not doing enough and about not being all in and committing to succeeding. So my challenge to you is activity. The number one ingredient, and Dylan, I'm about to come to you, buddy, in just a second with some Q&A, see what we got going on in questions and comments. The number one thing that you need to track and that you need to know and that you need to be aware of and that you need to be ready to freaking smash and be a destroyer on is activity. Because activity is the one thing that you can control. You can't control sets. You can't control sits. You can't control sales. You can't control money. Because without activity, you won't get any of it. Activity is what I would be great at. I would be known as a flat out, the person that outworks everyone else in this office is this person. The person that leads an activity is this person. The Person that is a flat out freaking destroyer is this person. When I was a new agent, any office I've ever been in, I was the hardest working agent in that office, and I was the quote unquote destroyer for that operation. I want you to be the destroyer in your local sales office. What do you think, D? Anything going on YouTube or Facebook? Thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah, we got a question from Robo on YouTube.
Robo.
He asked, what's the latest time to call back a real-time lead, 7 p.m. or 8 p.m.?
You mic'd up?
Yeah.
Latest time to call a lead, 7 p.m. or 8 p.m.? I would call, in Missouri, I can call all the way till 9 Central, and I've done it. So I just don't call past 9. Like 8 o'clock, dude, 8 o'clock. They're probably in bed watching Big Bang Theory, and they're like, somebody please call me. So 7, 8 o'clock, prime for calls. And that's the thing. Most people in that scenario, they would think it. They would overthink it. Well, and I need to call this person. Oh, it's 8 o'clock. I'm not going to do it. Commit first. Figure the rest out later. Don't even think about it. Just freaking dial the number. If you tick them off, you tick them off. Just do it.
So let's just say the lead comes in at 9 p.m.
Yep.
Would you recommend calling them right then or in the morning?
Always immediately. Now, if it's 10, 11, midnight, no. But if it's 9 o'clock, 9:15, it just came in, they ask, I mean, one thing to think about, okay? Agents forget about this. They say, okay, a lead came in, the agent thinks, am I allowed to do this? When in reality, what we should think, and the thought process should happen is, holy crap, they are asking me to call them right now. And then you just freaking pick it up and do it. So that's a wonderful question. I get that question actually quite a bit.
That's pretty much our only question. We have some people commenting and some people talking on their own. But
who's from the comments? Who looks like a destroyer? Just who looks like they're going to just outwork people?
Quentin Kelly said, I called one back at 9 p.m. last night and set an appointment.
Come on, man. Quentin Kelly is dropping bombs, man. I love it. Dude, we're going to get you up here. You're going to drop the mic in the middle of the show. I love it. That's good. Thank you, buddy. Hey, tell somebody you know that's an insurance agent that needs this. I mean, if you want your people that you know that are also insurance agents to be part of the 8% Club and to be successful, and I know you do, then make sure they're watching these things when we do them. Make sure that they know about them. Now it's up to them whether they watch them, but make sure that, like, when I've got people in my life that are helping me, I tell others because I want other people to be successful. And there's enough fish in the sea, like whatever, but I want to be the destroyer in my space. Like when it comes to content, I challenge you guys right now. When it comes to content, videos, helping, does anyone in the insurance industry do more? Yes or no? No, and I challenge you. Like, dude, you show me someone that's doing more content for this space, and I'll give you $100 cash right now. It isn't happening because we are, like you want to be with activity, we're the destroyer for the activity, for the content for the insurance industry from an activity level. So, because like, just as activity made me a ton of money at an early age in the insurance business, activity, when I'm talking about marketing, training, lead generation, all that, coaching, everything we do for the insurance space now, activity wins. I want to be the activity king. That's all I got to say. We good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
You guys are awesome. Thanks for being part of 8% Club. Hey, make sure you go to CodyAskins.com. I've got a complete 3-hour live training with you. It's called Call to Close. Everything in between, from the call to the close. If you pick up one nugget, then you've immediately 100 to 1,000x your investment. If you pick up one thing, go to CodyAskins.com to check out the new Call to Close series. You want to be a part of that. It's a live training, March 7th at 5 o'clock. I want you there. You guys are awesome. I want you part of the 8% and not the 92% that suck and fail and don't put forth enough what? Activity. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome weekend. Dylan, we got some videos dropping for them this weekend.
We will.
Let's do it. Always, man. When do we not? Like that's like a loaded question. That's like, man, like when I run appointments, I'm assuming you want to buy from me today. I'm assuming Dylan's going to be giving you guys some free stuff this weekend. So, all right. Thanks for watching 8% Club. Appreciate you guys. See you Monday.